As you guys know, here at elitefts, we have the best equipment on the planet. From awesome competition benches to amazing monoliths, racks, as many bars as you could possibly imagine. And we even have our brand new fancy floor press bench. This thing is amazing and covered in shit right now. But the biggest piece of equipment that I'm sure you did not realize that we had and that we use quite a bit is our elitefts Smith machine. Before I begin this video, before you start blowing up the comments section, this is a Smith machine and will not replace your bench, your squat, or your deadlift in your training if you're taking your training seriously. It is a tool, right? It has different uses and it will not be used for everybody. But what I must say is that it is not given as much credit as it deserves. A couple things about this Smith machine that makes it so different. As you know, it's on a track. It's on a fixed track. And it goes the same up as it does down for everybody that uses it. That's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that me and you are built differently. Therefore, the path of the bar, whether it be slightly tilted or straight up and down, may not fit for your specific body. Keep that in mind as we set these things up. The second thing, with our Smith machines specifically, you're not going to run into this problem, but for most Smith machines, the bar that they use is a pretty shitty bar. We use a Texas power bar in our Smith machine because it's the most badass Smith machine you'll ever use. But what you'll run into, the knurling's not great, the bar can actually start to kind of bend a little bit, and it doesn't feel that great. So, keeping that in mind, knowing we're not replacing any of your training with Smith machine work, we are saying that this will help you accent the stuff that you do in your accessories, in your volume work, in your hypertrophy stuff. So keep that in mind as we jump into these 5 exercises. All right, guys, the first exercise we're gonna be doing with the Smith machine. This, as I mentioned before, is a fantastic tool to work on accessories or work on things that you would normally do with a machine, right? So a lot of things you can do with a machine, you can do with a Smith machine. What we're gonna be doing today for the first exercise is a close grip tricep lockout, right? So think about lockouts for bench press, think about tricep work. Utilizing a Smith machine, you can get pretty close to a floor press, but what we're gonna be doing is we're focusing just on locking out the triceps. So I'm gonna show you right here, just jump right down like you would a normal floor press. Lying down straight, right? Unlocking the bar. And if you notice, on this version, on our version, you can't go all the way down to a floor press, but you can do a modified floor press, right? So a closer grip, stay nice and tight, and think about just pressing up. Control it down. It's almost like a pin press. And this is a great option for you if you want to work on your lockout and you want to get a lot of volume into the triceps. You get nice and tight into the floor like you would a floor press, pressing straight up, control it down. Pressing straight up, control it down. On to exercise number 2. Very similar to the floor press we were doing, but now we're gonna be doing it with an incline bench, and we're gonna be going full range of motion. So, a lot of times, especially for strongman competitors, our front delts and our pecs cannot be big enough. So, with this variation, push it to failure, push the weight, push the reps. You're in a position where you can save yourself, where you're not really gonna be in that much danger if things go south. And that's one of the benefits of utilizing this machine for an accessory such as a incline press here. So, just like we were doing before, as we all know, unrack the bar, get those hands in position, and now what you're doing is you're just gonna be repping everything out. Try to get a nice full range of motion, squeezing at the top. Pretty self-explanatory. And like I had mentioned before, this is on a fixed platform, so you're gonna have to adjust where the bench is for you. It's also gonna have to, sometimes they go straight up, sometimes there's a slight curve to them. It's a little bit of a learning process. But the idea is to put yourself in a position where you can get maximal force through the fibers of the muscles that you're trying to work, right? So in this position, we're really trying to get that full stretch of the pecs, try to get those front delts involved, and squeeze, pressing right through. This is not going to substitute for any sort of barbell work, any sort of dumbbell work, or any sort of real lifting as you would normally see it. This is a tool that you can utilize to get more volume, get more blood in the area, and just get a pretty sweet pump in a pretty safe and structured environment where you can focus entirely on the output of the exercise. So we've gone through 2. Let's jump into the next 3, which are kind of similar, but all have very different uses in your programming, and you will probably love and or hate these variations. The last 3 exercises we're doing are all going to be done kind of the same way, but the biggest benefit of the Smith machine is that you can get from the most challenging to the least challenging. Let me explain. So, for example, if I was doing push-ups as a finisher for my upper body day, or if I was working with clients and I was looking to kick their ass, I would utilize a Smith machine. So what I would do, drop it all the way to the bottom. For demonstration purposes, what I'll show you is you're gonna start with push-ups, right? So any gym that has a Smith machine, you have access to this. You can even do this in a regular rack with a barbell. But again, it's actually easier with a Smith machine. So if I was doing this, I would start as many push-ups as I could, right? Bada bing, bada boom. And then I would continue now on the bottomed out Smith machine, right? As many push-ups as you can. Now, when you get tired there, bring it up just a little bit. Again, as many reps as you can, right? Coming all the way up, and you work your way up the ladder. You work your way up the Smith machine until you get to about waist height, possibly a little bit higher. So it's not just for push-ups though. So that was one of the exercises. The other exercise I like to do is a standing skull crusher, and I actually learned these from Dave. Get those hands nice and close, just about shoulder width. Tuck those elbows in hard. This isn't a push-up. What you're doing is now you're thinking about a skull crusher. So you're gonna bring it to the forehead and up. Bring it to the forehead and up. Same thing, get tired there. Bring it up just a little bit. Again, tuck the elbows, right to the forehead and up. So we've done a lot of pressing, we've done a lot of pushing, and we worked on our triceps quite a bit. But what about the back of our bodies? The 5th and final exercise I'm going to show you, inverted rows. As you have probably done these before, you can do it on TRX, you can do them on a bar like this. This is a great way to increase the challenge with the exercise or decrease the challenge if you can't really do them normally. So what I'll do, put that down, just like we were doing with the push-ups, just like we were doing with the tricep, the skull crushers. We're gonna start down low, as horizontal to the ground as you can, pulling up. So now we're working on the back of your body, right? Pulling all the way up. And as you get tired, you go up a little higher, and it increases the angle that you're pulling, right? So again, do as many as you can. Now you're right here, pulling up. As you can see, this most hated piece of equipment in the gym does have uses. There is a disclaimer, like I said in the beginning of this video, this machine will not replace any real training. This machine will not replace any compound movements. You shouldn't even do anything squatting or deadlifting related with a Smith machine. But it does have a use, and it is a tool that you can implement if it's one of the only things you may have at your gym to get as strong as you possibly can, right? So I'm out of breath. That's exciting. If you have any questions, shoot them down below. As always, thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.